All right, so thanks for everybody for coming. I'm sure some other people will be joining in as we go along. And I was saying before that the engineering feat of this device was pretty rapid compared to a lot of medical devices out there. The engineers did a phenomenal job. And this is number one manufactured APRU ready to go to the field. All right. We've already had purchases, so it's already got a home, but this is number one. So I'm going to have the slides presented, and we're just going to go through some slides, and then I'm going to go through a video with you guys with all the parts and pieces we have here. So go ahead and present the slides. All right, so the agenda is a little introduction. I'm going to go through the certifications, some of the extreme capabilities. The capabilities that are in between there are super easy for this device. So we're just going to talk about the extreme capabilities that it does. I'm going to also do a competitor comparison of the devices out there that you guys currently use and where it fits in. And then I'll go through a walkthrough of all the parts, pieces, and the interface, which nobody has seen the new interface. I'm pretty excited about it, so we'll share that. And then I'll do an update on the sub-W for those people that know about the sub-W, and then we'll go over some questions. So next slide. All right, I just want to tell a quick story here, and then when we get through the first 4 slides, if you guys have to go and you don't want to watch the video of me going through the APRU, you don't have to stay for that. You'll get all the information in this first 4 slides. But I wanted to go through the evolution of the APRU because it started with me in 2007 in Iraq. I was part of a pilot program in 2007 that was using frozen plasma on the battlefield. And I had this big AccuTemp freezer I had plasma in, and then I had a refrigerator that was used for other things and also for my plasma, and it had a freezer for what then, now it's called golden hour box. What it was called then wasn't the golden hour box, to put my inserts in there and freeze. And the planning cycle was between 8 to 12 hours. So I had time before we would launch to do the planning process, pull my plasma out, let it start to thaw, get it in the refrigerator, get the launch, pull my box out, and put my plasma in there and go do a mission. And it was time consuming, and a lot of times I just couldn't make the timeline to get my plasma at the objective. So that was a pilot program. And then when I came back, I had to brief the AAR what I thought of this capability. And I said, it's horrible. Logistically, it's very difficult to move plasma around to the objective and be usable. My concern was the how cold plasma was when it was frozen. That was my biggest concern. But anyways, logistically, I came back and said, this sucks and it's hard. Well, with this device, we've really thought about those pain points that you guys have with refrigeration on the battlefield. And so I'll hit all those, but I just want to give you the evolution for me started in 2007 on a pilot program using plasma to now where the evolution of whole blood is, the best thing for our casualties as soon as possible, in that evolution. All right. So DDT aspires to develop and manufacture quality products. And when I mean quality, I mean we are putting a lot of quality products in this device. So your refrigerator that sits in your house for 5 to 10 years, it's going to be the same thing with this thing. This thing's going to last for at least 5 years with all the quality products in there. Our engineers are experienced. We have experienced techs building these devices, and we have expert consultants that really have put their information input on here, as well as stakeholders and end users throughout the soft community have told us what this device needed to do, and we tried to get as close to those end user requirements as possible. And we want to deliver a device that expands your current capability. So you guys are capable of doing a walking blood bank. I mean, I was carrying blood draw bags in 2007. I had 2 of those bags in my aid bag all the time. And if I was doing coverages now, I would still have that in there. But this just expands the capabilities you guys already do. It's just going to give you more capability in the planning process and getting on the objective to treat your casualties. And we want to save lives where it was once possible. I remember in 2002 we had in Afghanistan we had a soldier die because he basically bled to death because at that time the 160th would only fly at night, and this guy got shot early in the morning. And that would have been the best time to have whole blood through that time period of getting that evac. But, he passed around the afternoon time. All right, next slide. All right, here's the important things for you guys. These are the qualifications, certifications that we currently have on this device. We need one more and then we'll be complete, right? So it's FDA registered KSE blood refrigerator. So this is recognized as the FDA as a blood refrigerator. IEC 61010, meaning it's qualified as a laboratory device, safe electrical safety. So you go to lab, you can plug this in their lab, and it's fully qualified. So, and then we have the ISO 13845 in the process, and that's our quality management. That is required for the FDA. That's required for us to maintain our FDA registration. So we have that on the device. It's been EL listed to UL standard. Once again, that's a safety thing, meaning you plug this in and it's not going to catch on fire. We have the IP66 NEMA 4X, which is the weatherproofing. All right, so you can get this thing wet. You can put it on a boat, a Zodiac, drive it to wherever you're going. It can get totally wet. You're not going to be able to dive it, but you can get this thing wet. You can put it in weather. You can put it in freezing temperatures. The plastic's not going to crack. You can put it in hot temperatures. It's not going to melt. It meets all those requirements as far as all weatherness. It conforms to all the AABB guidelines. We have a patent pending. And this ought to impress some of you guys. This patent pending, it's difficult to get a patent on a refrigerator, right? Because they're out there. Well, the technology we have put in here allows this refrigerator to have a patent pending, eventually a patent. So there is some special sauce that's in here that is patentable. So not necessarily the refrigerator as a whole, but we do have some stuff in here that is patented, can be patented. All right, so the airworthiness test, that's the one thing we have left to get done on this device. The airworthiness is on hold. We're waiting for JPC6 to finish the contract and release us the funds. We are in contact with USEROL. Every month they're asking us, you got the funding? Do you have your contracting officer? We have our contracting officer. They just have not completed the contract as yet. So that's where we are with airworthiness. It's just in progress. All right, next slide. Okay, here's some extreme capabilities. Anything in between there in here is easy. It's like a crawl for the APRU. So it maintains constant temperature, and I want to emphasize storage and transport because as far as the FDA goes and AAB, they're 2 different functions. They don't, the temperatures work together, but they're 2 separate functions. So whenever you unplug this device and you're going to move it somewhere, it's in transport. It's a different temperature range. If you plug it in and you plug it into your vehicle or you put it in your team room, tent, whatever, then it's a storage device. So you have 2 things with this. You have a storage device and you have a transport device. You got 2 things going on here, all right? So we are currently testing this at 50 C, which is 122 Fahrenheit. We're testing it at that temperature to make sure the battery and the system works at 50 C, and which it does. I have the numbers up here. So at 50 C at storage, as long as you have it plugged in, it just goes indefinite, right? But 50 C at transport, meaning you unplugged it, it's on the battery, and you're going somewhere at 122 Fahrenheit, you're going to get 21 hours of duration transport. Why do I keep saying that? Because transport, you can get up to 10 C. So storage is 4 to 6 C Celsius. That is maintained, that's the FDA guidelines. When you go to transport, and I'm stressing this because the devices you guys look at our competitors, they put it down as transport time. So at transport time to 10 C, you get 21 hours, almost 1 day at 122 Fahrenheit with this device, right? Okay, so at 40 C, you get 2 days of transport time. If it's plugged in, it's indefinite. It just stays at 4 to 6 C. It just keeps running, right? If you got it plugged in. As soon as you unplug it and put it on battery, at 25 C, which is the industry standard, at 77 Fahrenheit, 4 days for transport, right? 4 days transport. And then what you're not going to get with these, I'm going to get some water. What you're not going to get with any of these other devices you guys currently have, extreme weather, is at minus 10 C, below freezing, it's going to maintain your temperature at storage 4 to 6 C, or you can transport at extreme temperatures for 3.5 days. I mean, at below freezing. So your blood will not freeze. And I bring that up because when I had the passive devices with the plasma in it, I was in Northeast Iraq and it got below freezing, and all my plasma and my factor 7 that I had in that box all froze. All right, so I've had some experience with my stuff freezing in those boxes. So this, you get below 32 Fahrenheit, and the temperature gets around 2 C on this, the heater's going to turn it on. The heater's going to turn on and continue to maintain your storage temperature, 4 to 6 C. All right, everything else in between this, super easy for this device. All right, next slide. Okay, so that's all the important information. If you guys want to bug out, you can, but I am going to go over the device and the user interface for you guys to get you caught up. So let me just, let me just move this center for you guys. And for the people that have not seen it before, some people have opened these clips. They were a lot harder before. We've adjusted them. They're pretty easy to open now. So we've made a difference there. You have this. It's currently working now. I wish I had the thermometer here. I could show you what the temperature is, but it's on. While I've been talking, it's doing its job. Lid opens up, no problem there. It has a tilt function on it, right? So you guys will hear this in a second maybe. But as soon as I tilt it, it turns the compressor off and it's good to go. There you go. So it's telling you right now, I'll give you a little warning. It gives you a little red light there. You guys can see that little red light tells you, hey, you got me tilt over. That's okay. You can tilt it over as long as you want. You have passive cooling in here. You have, depending on the temperature, up to 20 hours. So you can put it on its side. You could drop it from an aircraft. It could be swinging in a bundle side to side. It can land on the bundle sideways. And the device is on its side, doesn't bother it. All you got to do is put it back up and it'll turn back on. So you can put this in different configurations as you need. You have plenty of passive holdover to get it back up on its side. So you have that tilting function, as well as these are your fins here, right? That dissipates all your heat. So that's the reason for no need for heat for a fan. And then what else? And then the battery compartment is right there. So some special things that were asked is, could we daisy chain different batteries? Can we daisy chain another battery to this to get more hours? Yes, you can. You can put a plug in here. You can take a second battery You can take a second battery, daisy chain this, and we have the cable for it. Daisy chain the cable in there, and now you just went from 4 days, 5 days on one battery to 10. If you hook up a second one, you can get 20 days. You can a third battery will give you almost 20 days without having to recharge. So you can hook additional batteries to this if you need to extend your time without taking your battery out of the device. You can also take the battery out and put a new one in if you want, or you can hook up an external battery to give you more time for, for whatever reason you weren't able to get to some type of power outlet. So we have that. We also have this smaller battery that is approved, and this is just an insert to hold it in there, to hold the space, approved for commercial aircraft. So you could take this battery on the plane, you could put this device on a commercial aircraft, take the battery out, put it in your bag and put it on the plane, land where you're going, put this battery in there, and it'll keep running for you. So you can start transporting this commercially if you wanted. I know the difficult part is not this, it's getting approved to carry whole blood or blood products on the aircraft. But I have a feeling you guys have ways to write orders to get through that. That is the most difficult part. But with this smaller battery, you can totally take this on carry-on, put it in the thing, and you could take your blood with you from a point of origin. So we have that. All right, I want to show you guys the cool interface now. So we're going to go ahead and do a little zoom camera here. Oh, wow. Okay, I got an update. The heater actually works at minus 32°C. That's pretty cool. All right, so we have let's get right here. Come on, everyone, you can get a little closer. There you go. All right, so this is our new user screen that nobody has seen. Now the number is in green. So you're good to go, right? Between 4 and 6, you're good to go. It's green. When you get above 6 in the transport temperature, it'll turn yellow. Once you go out of temperature range below 2°C, or you end up going above 10°C because your battery ran out and your passive time ran out as well, then it'll go red. And it'll go like 11°C in red. So you have that. And up here is a date and time. That's on the top. And then on the bottom here, which is new, is it is telling you what's going on. So the minute you plug it in, it's going to tell you it's preparing, meaning it's bringing the temperature down in the device and it's charging the battery. And then as soon as it gets to the proper temperature for storage, it'll give you a green light and it'll tell you cooling. All right, so it's giving you a lot of information when you plug it in on what's going on. It didn't have that before, and I used to go on these trips and plug it in. I didn't know if it was working. So anyways, so now you know it's working. So you have that additional, and then you have the battery life, which is a full battery bars. Now let me hit this. And the record screen we've updated, which is pretty cool. Go ahead, get a little closer. If you see, what we've done is that line is the current temperature. If there was blood in here, that would be the temperature of the blood. That line is in the green zone. That's your storage temperature. So your blood would be currently at storage temperature for, on the bottom is the 24-hour clock, and on the side is the temperature. So you don't have to look at the temperature. Green is basically in range of 4 to 6°C. That yellow is your transport time. So the minute it goes out of 6°C and starts climbing towards 10°C, it will be in yellow. But it's still recording the days and the time at those temperature changes. And then if you get above that, you go into red. That means your blood is not good to store anymore and maybe not good to use after so much time. But that's your guys' policy on that. And then you can go from days to weeks by pushing this button here. I'm in weeks. I push that. Now it's just giving you the day. So now you know what your temperature has been all day. So for that documentation, you guys got to record for the AAB and the FDA that's your temperature record. So at the end of the day, you can totally write your temps down, or at the end of the week, write your temps down on your documentation and store it for any, if someone's asking for it. So anyways, that's your temperature record there and the different zones. Then we also have blackout to turn the lights out if you need the lights out for some reason. And we also have standby. The cool thing about the standby here is you can turn it off, or if the machine turns on, it's allowed. You got to get on the radio, or you guys need to be quiet. You can turn it to 10, and then it'll turn back on in 10 minutes. Or you can turn it to this other one that says, basically, soon as the temperature gets to 6C, it's going to turn itself back on, right? Because if you get in the chaos of the moment and you don't remember to turn it back on, your blood could all go bad. So we have this automatic feature you can select to say, hey, I want the device off until it gets to 6C, then I want it to turn back on. And then if you're in some type of SR position and you really want to be quiet, you can totally turn it off and control when it's going on and off, but you'll have to monitor the temperature. If you don't do that, it'll go out of range and you could potentially lose your blood. Let me see, what else do we have here? And then just do the little connections here. This is a fuse. Let me go back. And then the rest is settings. We had a bunch of other screens on here. We've actually taken them off because we try to make this more user-friendly. All right, you can pull out. Cool. So this is just some addition. That's the new user screen. I think it's pretty cool. All right, so right now I'm going to leave it out there for you guys to ask me some questions because I'm pretty much done with the APRU. Oh wait, hold on a second. I'm not done. In the box will come the cables when you order. So you got a manual here, explains it all. I'm eventually going to make a training video on how to use it, but the manual pretty much covers everything. It comes with the power adapter, a cable for the 110, and a cable for the 12 volt and the 24 volt, and the battery, which is the 2590, all comes in the case. You got to order additionally this battery if you want the smaller one. For some reason, you may want that. And then for the little daisy chain cable, you got to order that separately. That doesn't come in there, but it's a good little thing. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank you for coming.